Hey guys, you're not gonna believe me, but I am in the... Man, am I sweating? Oh man, it sounds unreal when I say this, but I am in the Peruvian Amazon. You have no idea how long I waited to come here. I've never been here before this trip. So I figured I wanted to take this opportunity to talk about how do you plan for a project in a place that you've never been to before. There's of course no right or wrong way here. I just want to give a few of my tips. All right.
In many ways, it's just like planning for any other trip, but the production part also makes things very different. You have to come home with some material that you can use. In order to make sure you do, it's a good thing to be as prepared as you can be. On most big trips like this, I like to start with this, a new notebook. I add all the info I can think of. First, I break down my mission and make sure I have interpreted my task the same way or even better than the client. Sometimes the project may be loosely explained, so I ask for all the info they have, like the schedule that we have, equipment I might need other than my production gear.
Yeah.
But it's also good to have an idea of the experience level of the rest of the group. I'm saying this for a few different reasons. One is that traveling to challenging locations can definitely be stressful, and everyone needs to work together to make things work. But it's also helpful when trying to work the people that you're traveling with into the production. I gather everything I can and add it to my notebook. I look up names of locations and organizations. What can I expect to see and experience in each location? What are the facilities like where we're staying? For example, will I be able to charge batteries whenever I want? I print out maps and stick them in my notebook for reference. I use the info I gathered to make up an idea for a story to film, and then I start making side stories based on a best case scenario and things I know for sure I will get. For example, best case scenario, here in Peru, I know that there is a chance, even if it's super slim, that I could see a jaguar resting beautifully on a riverbank. If that happens, I need to be mentally prepared for it. Basically, if at any time anyone on the boat had even whispered the word jaguar, my body would have switched to autopilot and been ready to film a jaguar. But I can't expect this to happen, so I also have to have a list of things I know I will see and experience, like big trees, bugs, rain, all important things to have to tell a story about a rainforest. Another thing I like to add to my notebook are a few phrases and words that could be good to know in the language of the place I'm at. This here is a notebook I made when I went to Central America for the first time, and I actually brought this one to Peru as well, just in case. I had all of the good words and phrases in Spanish that I could think of. Now it's time to decide what equipment to bring. It is of course first limited by what equipment you have, but even if you have a lot, bringing it all might slow you down. Not bringing enough though will limit your chances to get what you need. I actually brought quite a lot on this trip, and I was struggling at times, but I can also say that I used almost everything at some point during the trip, so I was pretty happy with that. Like bringing the drone is definitely always a hassle, but man was I glad I had it when I got a chance to fly it. But also, if I had done this trip alone, or if just Rob and I had done it, it would probably have been kinda hard to move all that gear between locations. Luckily this time I knew that there would be other people on the trip that I also knew really well, so I could ask them for help if I needed to, so I was pretty happy about that. Lastly, make sure you think through the battery situation. I wasn't completely sure when I would have access to power, so as a backup, just in case, I brought a small solar charger to power up my GoPros if I got myself into a pinch. When Rob and I were in the Grand Canyon a few years ago though, we did not have any access to power for almost 2 weeks. So at that time we actually brought between 20 and 30 batteries for our DSLRs each and kept them warm in the sleeping bags at night so they wouldn't drain because of the cold. Oh, yeah, that's another thing you gotta think about. The weather. Make sure you have everything you need for that.
Okay, so now I said I had a plan, but things can always change a lot. Once we got to the canopy walkway, which was one of my primary places to film, this rain just started dumping on us, which was, I guess, not fully unexpected. Just made things a little bit harder for me.
If you are going to be in a cold location, remember that the batteries drain quicker. If you are going to be in a place where you know that it will rain, or if you're going to be at high altitude, it is probably going to be necessary for you to bring some kind of rain cover for your camera. This has really put me in a bad spot a couple of times too, when I couldn't shoot at the times when I really needed to, because it basically was too wet. I want to give a big thanks to Universium Science Center for all the great work they do for the rainforest and other natural areas, and for making this adventure possible. Also, I know that we're many in this community who love to travel and document nature, and let's make sure we remember our responsibility and power to help protect the natural world with our work. Without it, our passion will no longer exist. Alright, thanks for watching and see you in another video.